All right, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Happy to have people here. All right, live from my bedroom, well, actually my office, but yeah, super excited to be hanging out with you guys today, man. Excited to dive into another little live stream. These things ain't easy, man. I think the first one was super cool. Definitely really enjoyed it as well, and but like a lot of fun as well, which is pretty rad. What is up, Lego Tuning? Hello to you too. Thanks for dropping in with us today. Let's have a go and see where chat about all things bike. I'm pretty excited to hang out for a little while and just kind of see where the world may take us today. So yeah, guys, basically broadcasting out of Cape Town, South Africa. Pretty excited to hop on here. And get to know you guys a little bit more, and vice versa. You guys also, if you guys have got any questions, I'd love for you guys to get to know me a little bit more as well. But yeah, I guess what this is kind of the point of it. I think social media has come a long way, but like Instagram, it's pretty easy to connect with people. Where YouTube, like you don't get as much connection, right? Like I think so. The live is a pretty cool way to sort of connect with people and sort of ask questions and engage with you guys. And I really like the YouTube stuff. So for me, the YouTube is a pretty high priority in my life. You'll see it like even with comments and stuff. Like I try to get back to everyone, and I try like make time to communicate and just get like back and forth with everyone as well, to kind of like just get a bit of engagement with everyone and reach out to you guys, because I mean you guys support me and subscribe to the channel, which is flipping awesome. Big Bean Ben, what's up? Pumba, hello to you too. All the O's. Yeah, nice to have you guys here, man. Much appreciated for coming to hang out as well. So yeah, hopefully we get a few more people hopping on as well. But yeah, excited for another little live stream as well. I spent the better part of yesterday fixing bicycles. So you guys will know. Greg MTB, how's it, bro? Fixing bicycles. I feel like since I've started riding bicycles, I've been fixing bicycles, and I'm sure you guys are probably all the same as well. But like, the more you ride bikes, the more stuff you do, and you're like, okay, as your riding progresses, you start doing more and more like fun and crazy and like ridiculous stuff, right? And then the more you break your bicycle, so it's like a catch-22. You got to get good at like learning to fix your bicycle as well, which is like a whole skill and in and of itself, right? So you can't always rely on the bike shop. That's one other thing I've learned as well. Like from racing, you have to figure out how to wrench in your own bike and do all that fun jazz as well. So guys, I spent a ridiculous amount of time working on bicycles yesterday. So a lot of fun. Anyway, managed to get my bike back up and running. I snapped my swing arm, well, chainstay actually on my e-bike the other day. So I ended up having, luckily I had a spare, so I could at least put that on. But like I had 3 cables routed through it, and I'm like regretting riding e-bikes for the amount of admin that they actually are. I say this like I say to this like all the time on my channel as well. Like I'm like I still love normal bikes as well, because they're like relatively low maintenance. Like you got a lot of stuff that you got to do for like to maintain the bike and whatnot as well. But like overall, like normal bikes are just fairly low maintenance, still flipping rad, best workout as well. I've had nothing but headaches from freaking e-bikes as well since I've started riding them. Like I dig it, but man, they're a lot of flipping work. So anyway, I spent most of yesterday just piecing bicycles back together. So yeah, whereabouts are you guys from? I'd love to know where everyone's from. The guys that are tuned in at the moment, drop in like where you guys are actually watching from. I'd dig to know where you guys are from. And yeah, just to remind you guys, I'm actually going to be giving a set away of these Liet gloves, these grip bar gloves. I'm going to do a giveaway a little bit later. So if you guys want to stick around, they're pretty rad. Liet do some pretty cool stuff. They've been helping me out quite nicely as well. So. And yeah, they've been supporting me, and they said they give away a pair of gloves. So if you guys want to stick around, I'm going to do a giveaway just now. But we'll dive into that a little bit further down the line. So yeah, pretty excited. Liska, what's up? Yeah, man. So I think the downhill was also on today, and it seems, I don't know if any of you guys watched downhill as well, but yeah, it's a little bit all over the show in terms of weather seemed to be up in the air and all over the show. So it's the first time we've seen that in a while, that they've actually postponed it or like rescheduled because of wind, which is pretty wild. So I mean, it must have been pretty gnarly, but now it seems to be going ahead. So that's pretty cool. I still need to get the live stream, the times and stuff that were coming through a little bit earlier, which is pretty cool. So I think they're probably pretty deep into it by now. So, but anyway, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, man. Like I'd love to know, are you guys like riding, racing? What do you guys prefer as well? Like for me, it's quite interesting, like seeing how the riding has progressed over the last couple of years, and like also how like riding and racing is like completely two different things, right? Like how, and also like how, but they go hand in hand. So I don't know if you guys have ever raced before, but I started with downhill racing, and that was kind of my passion. Like I got a downhill bike. It's like, sweet, I want to race downhill bikes, and that's what I wanted to kind of do. And it's amazing. Like I actually had like a long think about it the other day of like how my journey over the mountain biking years has progressed, but like what racing has given and taught me. And it's been a super interesting journey, man. Like, um, riding and racing is like almost, I look at like two different realms. Like for me, racing is something that is like a lifestyle, encompasses like you get so involved and invested. Whereas now, like I raced for a long time, but for me now, like riding, like I feel like I'm more of a rider now than a racer. Like I don't do too many races. I'll still enjoy a race here and there, but for me, like as a rider, like I find it's taking me back to my roots of just enjoying riding. Whereas it's a different like ball game. I don't know if you guys view it in the same way. Excuse me. But yeah, like basically when you're racing, like everything becomes about racing. It's like you become focused, you become disciplined, you become like your training locks in. Like everything kind of like dives in. Like there's this big encompassing thing that like that goes into racing. It's not just like one thing. There's a whole bunch of stuff that makes up racing. Whereas like riding, you can go and you can get a bike and you can just do it for the love of it. And like I think that's what so many people are in love with as well. So it's cool to see. Like it'll be interesting. I'm kind of wanting to dive into that a little bit more on the channel as well, of like getting a little bit more into the racing side of things, because I've got a fair amount of like history there. So I would love to share that with you guys as well. Like I'm obviously diving into the skills and tips and techniques and that sort of thing at the moment, but yeah, I'd love to share a little bit more of like the racing stuff to help like people improve their racing as well. Because like I say, I think there's two different things. Like you can become a good rider and a good racer, and they're like two different things. Same, but different. But anyway, Yellow Isaac, what's up, man? Glad you made it in this time. Much appreciated, dude. Glad to have you here. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. I'd love to drop in some answer some questions later. But yeah, so as far as like racing goes as well, like I think there's so much that goes into it. Like I look at these guys now, and like always, like it gives me like solid throwbacks of like how, like looking at the downhill now, like watching the guys come down, like just seeing how much goes into that. Like I've got a lot of mates that race, and whatever discipline it is, there's an amount of stuff that goes in behind the scenes is actually ridiculous, man. And I miss it, but it's also like it's an all-consuming lifestyle. So again, coming back to that, riding is now this like rad thing where you get to go just enjoy spending time on the bike, spending time outdoors, going to ride with your mates. That for me is now like I've kind of steered in that direction again, which is pretty cool. So raced for many moons, and now the riding is kind of like a reformed love with it again, which is pretty rad. So yeah, man, bikes are pretty cool. But yeah, I think also like interesting how people's journeys differ in terms of like with their riding and racing, like how people find like which direction they want to steer in, of like who wants to race and who wants to just ride and stuff as well. And it's always interesting for me like how many people actually like kind of like race and ride. Let's have a look. Sorry, I'm diving into the chat too quickly. I want to see what Lego Tuning has to say. Cheers, my spins heavy. Small ramps and I land sometimes twist my pulse. Twist my pulse. Sorry, what does that mean, Lego? Heavy metals thick, so I'm gonna try. Does that mean it breaks like the cranks and stuff potentially? See if you can maybe reword that. I'm not too sure what pulse means, but I'd love to help out on that. Yeah, man. And then also like, have you guys like out of interest as well? It's something I've been kind of like chipping away with that for a while. Is have you guys ever been coached by a skills instructor before? And like, how valuable did you find it? It's something I've been grappling with. Like now, I think there's so many people coaching as well. So, and I mean, there's so many areas that go into coaching. So it's interesting for me to like hear different people's experiences. Like I've heard good and bad things from different people, like how skills coaching actually works. And it's for me, it's something that I'm like kind of working on at the moment, of like where to kind of steer A to B, because I would like to incorporate, like obviously I do a lot of the skill stuff, but like I'd love to give like a more overall approach of like being able to help someone improve their mountain biking, because like I said, there's so many different areas that you can improve on, and you can fast track it down the line. And like for me, like having learned a lot of the stuff, when I look back now, there's a lot of stuff that I could have done potentially different, but also had to make those trial and errors to learn that as well. So Rugby MTB 45. What's up? How's it, brew? What's happening? Assuming you might be South African with the brew there. Yeah, I'd love to know where you guys are from. Drop it in the chat where you guys are from. I'd love to see where everyone's streaming from, or just tuned in from. It's pretty cool to be hanging out with you guys, like I say. Yeah. And actually didn't get to Lego's first question. You prefer disc brakes or V brakes? Oh, dude, hydraulic brakes every time, bro. Those things, I think we're far gone past the days of V brakes. I think, maybe they had a place in like road bikes and stuff, but I think they're just gone like far past that. Like, I think I haven't really even ridden a bike with V brakes in ages, to be honest. Callan MTB, what's up, dude? How's it to you as well, sir? Glad you guys are jumping on here, man. Much appreciated. Spending a little bit of time here. If you guys have any questions, please feel free as well. I'm happy to help, man. Like, it's this whole thing for me has just kind of been about like giving back a little bit, and like YouTube's been a super interesting like platform to be able to do that on. Even just with the social medias, like it's been interesting. Like when I first started making my content, like I started doing like a lot of mountain biking videos, and I kind of had like I wasn't sure in which direction to really steer it, but I coached mountain biking for a long time. Like I coached skills. I didn't have like a fitness background or anything like that. So I didn't have any like fitness qualifications to my name. So I thought, okay, well, let me try the skills coaching. And so I did that for a long time. And then this is actually where A2B kind of steered from there, which is pretty cool. So being able to help people with the skills. Who else we got? The chat. Bumba, congrats on 20K. Thanks, dude. I'm much love to you guys, man. It's 100%. You guys are obviously enjoying what I'm putting out there, so much appreciated. Thanks so much, like Isaac. I much appreciated, dude. Yeah, man. Greg Z, there we go. How's it from South Africa? Could have called it. What's up, man? Love it. Sick, dude. Much appreciated, Callan. I do appreciate that. From the Netherlands, sick, dude. Epic, man. The Netherlands. Funny enough, like the people are super engaging from the Netherlands. Actually, like a lot of people like engage, comment, and like then they'll tell me that they're from the Netherlands. Like more like off the top of their head, like more than anywhere else, which is super rad. I think a lot of people ride bikes in the Netherlands, which is pretty cool. I remember going there one time. I went to Amsterdam, and it was such a sick trip, dude. But I'd ridden bikes for ages, like ages. By this time, I was probably like 10 years into my riding, and I remember going to Amsterdam, and I was like, cool. I know it's like the bike city and stuff, and so I got there. And in South Africa, like our roads are the opposite way. So like when you cross a road, like I would normally look in one direction first, and in Amsterdam it's completely the opposite. And then they have the bike lanes, then the road, like the car lane, and then they have the tram lane. So I just remember like trying to cross the street the one time, and I was like so confused. I was already looking the wrong way the first time, and I was getting smoked by like bikes coming this way, and then it was cars, and I was looking the wrong way, and I was like, what is happening? And then I tried to ride, and it was just the most overwhelming thing ever. I'm like, I'm so comfortable on a bike, it's ridiculous. And I went to Amsterdam, and I was like, dude, it blew my mind. I was like going down there, and these people they are so honored. People just going to work, and they're like streaming past you, and they're like passing on your right, passing left, and then they get frustrated as well because you're like, no, I'm like, guys, I'm going the wrong direction. I'm not used to which way, like on the road and stuff. And it was the most bizarre experience. I'm like, it was so funny for me that I'm like, I know I'm generally pretty comfy on the bike, and like I felt overwhelmed in the Netherlands, which is quite interesting. Way in Amsterdam, anyway. So, hi, Greg Martins. Yeah, dude. So no downhill. Yeah, dude. Well, I think they're running now at the moment, but like the guys there is timing happening. They just postponed it today in Andorra, but I think it is happening. I've been watching the bit of the live streaming and stuff. Like I haven't checked in a little while. I was obviously prepping for this, but yeah. Lego, I'm from Portugal. Sick, dude. I had two good Portuguese friends growing up, so much appreciated you tuning in from there. Sick, much love. I just moved from Hong Kong to the UK. Interesting move, dude. Wow. What made you move from Hong Kong to the UK? How's the riding? I think the riding in Hong Kong is supposed to be pretty good, if I like correct, or I may be mistaken, but I think the guys have got some pretty kip riding out there as well. I think you're definitely in for a wet time in the UK. I know that a couple of the people there are like, yeah, dude. I think that's for me is also like an interesting like steer off track, but like people in Europe, like something that's been an interesting thing for me, like also racing for many years, is like the people in Europe when they ride, dude, they have like their season is wet most of the season. Like so the guys in the UK, like it's raining all the time. So like you could look at the guys like Steve Pete and all the dudes like that came out like the Athertons and stuff like the original downhill guys as well. Like I remember watching all the Earth videos, and I don't recall seeing many videos of dudes like riding in the dry. And it just, for me, it was always an interesting factor because like they would always go practice in the wet. And interesting point of view, but I think like practicing in the wet is one of the best ways to improve your mountain biking, like hands down. Like I think, you know, a lot of like, it's very easy to become a fair weather rider. And like the reason that you'll often find the Frenchies and the like Europeans are so good at their riding is because they don't have the option. They just ride in the wet irregardless, you know. Like I think we're pretty fortunate here in South Africa where the weather's pretty good, and like I could wait till tomorrow and I know I'm probably going to be riding in the dry, which is pretty rad. But those dudes over there, they're just like, they kit up for the wet, man. They're like, kits on, wets, like they've got their whole system dialed in. They get home and they just like high pressure hose themselves off, which is pretty funny. But I remember seeing that as well. Like, you know, I would like, and it only dawned on me a lot later in life that like I remember getting the chance to go to Morsey and ride, and I remember riding in the wet and like seeing how fast the Euros are in like wet conditions is scary, dude. They are insane. Like they are so good, and it's purely to the testament that they just do it every day, all day. So I'm like, how would you not be good if that's your everyday life? You are definitely gonna get good. And like one of the big reasons why it's pretty good for you is that like when you're used to the bike in the wet, right? The bike is just, it's a lot more unpredictable. So like you're gonna slip easier. So like when your brain can wrap around what's happening underneath you, like when you're riding roots and stuff, like I mean, you guys will have the experience of this, but like if you ride roots or rocks or whatever in the wet, like any little camber, like you'll slide down there a lot easier. Your bike's gonna do that in the dry, but not as aggressively, right? So it becomes a lot more like predictable in the dry. So like when you do stuff in the wet and your bike's like almost on the opposite end of the spectrum, like, you know, now your bike's like sliding out like super far in the wet. Next time you ride dry, you're going to be like crushing it because everything is like, it's going to be a lot less. Like, going to be like an easier ride basically. So practicing in the wet is probably one of the best things you would ever do from your riding. So yeah, anyway, Greg MTB, Cullen MTB, and I getting our friends to sub you. Legends. Nice. Thanks guys. Much love. Ethan, love your videos. Hey dude, I appreciate you, man. Much appreciated. I know Greg well, he's a pork chop. You guys are clearly good friends. I love it. I think my parents want me to move. Oh, damn, man. Well, I hope you can still at least take your bike with wherever you are going. I think, you know, on the upside, the UK has got some sick bike parks, dude. So, like, I'm pretty jealous. I actually want to go get over there at some stage and go ride some sick trails. So, yeah. Rainer, love your videos. Much appreciated as well, dude. Really much appreciated. So, yeah. What is my favorite mountain bike discipline? And do I know Greg Minnaar? Okay, I'll do one by one. Favorite mountain bike discipline. I think my heart is always going to be downhill, dude. And for me, that's where like my like riding started. It always had my heart. It was like very few times in my life have I been as focused and like dedicated to doing something as I did downhill. When I got into downhill, it was like all consuming. That was like all I wanted to do. I remember, I think I mentioned the video, but I'll recap it anyway. So, but like I remember going on holiday with some friends and they had dirt jump bikes. And anyway, they invited me to go ride. And that evening we rode and I digged it. And then I went and watched one of the, I think it was one of the New World Disorder videos. And I was like, that's what I want to do. And anyway, I came back and I figured out how to get a bike. And I bought there was at this stage, this was like 15 years ago. So I was like, there was no downhill bikes like in South Africa. You know, it was like a relatively new sport here as well. Like there was a very niche amount of people doing it. So it was very much like a trial by fire, like finding whatever you could, making a plan. Like now you can get stuff in from overseas, from CRC, Jensen, like Worldwide Cyclery, super quick. Like back then it was, you know, whatever somebody had that had like they brought in, and like if somebody had a spare like part or bike or whatever, that was it, dude. And so for me, downhill has always had my heart, man. Like a close second though has got to be dirt jumping. Also something I haven't done in a while though, but reason being is like I started and I lived in a place that was super flat, and I started riding before I could drive. So for me, I could go ride, but I wouldn't be able to drive to the downhill courses. Like I didn't stay anywhere near like a downhill course. So for me, like Monday to Friday, I would build dirt jumps, and like I used to have the set of dirt jumps that I would go build, and I spent my entire life there, dude. Like I had to do a school sport, which I hated because all I wanted to do was go ride. I'm sure there's a lot of people that probably feel the same, but anyway, so like I would just like like get my dirt jump bike, and I started on my downhill bike first because it was the only bike I had. I couldn't afford to get two bikes, so I had one bike. and I would just take my spade and my backpack, and I would go down to my dirt jumps and I would build. And it started as like these tiny jumps, and like, dude, I just like throughout the years it just got bigger and bigger and different, and and then eventually I did get a dirt jump bike. And like, I think I just loved the whole experience of the dirt jump. Like, I spent a lot of time dirt jumping as well, which was super, super cool. So I'd say dirt jumping is probably a close second as well. And another thing that like also like, dirt jumping is so, so, so good for you. If you're going to learn how to mountain bike, like, dirt jumping is probably one of the best skills that you're ever going to learn, right? So it's like, it's like pure bike skill. So and it's like 100%. Like, now I look at, like, if you look at anybody that's good and looks comfortable on a bike, the chances are they're going to be good at jumping. Like, if you go spend a lot of time, I think you just get like really, really good bang for buck while dirt jumping, right? So if you go to the dirt jump, so if you go to a downhill track, for example, like, I don't know if you guys have ever ridden downhill, but you've definitely maybe watched a race or whatever before. So like, you gondola up to the top, or here in South Africa, we put our bikes on the back of a truck and like get like basically bust up to the top, and then you take it down your bike and you ride down. So, and that downhill segment is like 5 minutes, maybe, like, if not shorter, if not longer. So then it like, you end up spending like 5 minutes there. Then you have to get back on the truck, go up again. So, and then, like, let's say you do like 6-7 runs throughout the day, you spend like maybe 20 minutes on your bike. So like, while dirt jumping, you can go out dirt jumping and like spend a huge amount of time on a bike, dude. Like, you can go and just spend the entire day, and the time you spend on your bike progressing your skills is immense. And that's why, like, it's one of the best ways. Like, you can also, like, it's the same way if you look at it, like, if you think about it the same way as like you think about fitness, right? If you want to just improve your running, you go spend a lot of time running, right? But if you want to improve your technical running, you go spend that time trail running, right? So you're going to be fit. So it's the same with like mountain biking. If you want to go and get like fit and strong for like a marathon race, you'll just go spend a lot of time on the bike. Whereas if you want to improve your skill, like, you go spend a lot of time dirt jumping, or you spend a lot of time doing technical riding. And like, to spend a lot of time doing like downhill, like, you've got to go to a bike park, which is now pretty easily accessible if you're overseas. But like, some places, like, not a lot of people have access to like these really nice bike parks. And that's why, like, you can go dirt jump and you can get like pretty similar results with like just like bang for buck. So like, just spending a lot of time as well, like, that's how you'll improve. And that's why, like, like nowadays with bike parks and stuff, like, you look at the dudes like Finn Isles and like Jackson Goldstone and stuff. These dudes are so fast. It's crazy. And it's because they've like grown up in an environment where you're doing just dedicated, like, disciplined like training on like technical riding. So there's no ways these dudes aren't going to be like ridiculously fast. And just the evolution is also just scary, man. Like, how fast these dudes actually are. Anyway, let's see what else we got in the chat, John. I have to scroll up a little bit here. Hey, thanks again for hanging out here, guys. Like, much appreciated. I love spending time with you guys as well. So makes me happy. You guys are happy as well. Just a reminder, Lead gloves. I'm going to do that giveaway just now. These are probably one of my favorite sets of gloves. I don't know if you guys know it, but you guys ride, like, what gloves do you ride with? These ones actually don't have padding on the inside, which is pretty cool. So they're just like, I don't like any padding on the inside of my glove. And the reason being, like, when it's sometimes when the pads like sit around, like, I know some people prefer the feel of the pads. Like, I don't like it at all because I find it puts like pressure in certain pots. Where is my brain? It puts like pressure in like specific parts of your palm, and then it like accentuates the pressure there, so it doesn't distribute it as nicely as I'd like. So I don't like having like any padding in my gloves. You'll see like those gloves that I just showed you now, they have zero padding in, just because like it's a better real feel. So either that or just no gloves. That's kind of my riding preferences. I don't know what you guys roll with. I like to ride with like, I'll just roll hands like sometimes as well, but you can't do, I don't always do, I won't do that in the rain, obviously, otherwise you just end up like motor like all over the show. So, which is a little bit nuts. Callan MTB, do you know Greg Minnaar? I do. I actually very much do. And the reason I know him as well is I used to work for Greg Minnaar Cycles in Maritzburg. So he used to obviously run that, and it used to be his shop. Well, I lied, it used to be his parents' shop, that then changed to Greg Minnaar Cycles. So funny enough, I mean, that dude is also a legend, man, like an absolute legend. I don't know if anyone else has had the pleasure of meeting Greg Minnaar, but he is like just one of the like most genuine, real, rad people that you'll ever have the pleasure of meeting. Really cool dude. So yeah, I ended up, when I left school, I was riding and racing at the time, and Peter Maritzburg, where he's actually from, is one of like the meccas of mountain biking. And so I was like, cool, I packed my stuff up and I moved down to Maritzburg to carry on studying, and so that I could be near like a downhill track and better riding. And anyway, so while I was down there, I got part-time work at the shop there, and I think I was there for about a year and a half, almost 2 years, dude. So yeah, I mean, he was in and out the shop. His folks ran it. He was obviously overseas all the time, racing, riding, doing all the Greg Minnaar things that Greg Minnaars do. But he, like, when he was in the shop, man, he's such a genuine dude. I remember being so starstruck the first time I saw him, because I'd only ever seen this dude on videos, and I was like, this guy is insane. Like, this guy is like, he's the business. And like, in South Africa, there's not a huge downhill scene. And I still remember the first time I saw him, we went to, this was like completely prior to me working at a shop, but we'd gone down for a downhill race in Maritzburg, and we'd gone to see a shop, because I don't know if you guys have ever had the pleasure of being there, but he has all like his bikes and stuff on the walls, and like all the previous like titles. So he's got all his helmets and like from the different races and the different bikes and stuff. And a friend and I had like paired up, and we traveled down to Pietermaritzburg for a race for the weekend. And anyway, so we get there and we go into the shop, and I think we just needed a spare, and we wanted to go like 1 or 2 bike parts or whatever, like for the weekend, and we wanted to go hang out. So we got there and we was like kind of like chilling around the shop, and like anyway, next thing he walks through the door, and my friend and I were just like deer in the headlights, starstruck, like what is going on? Like holy smokes, like that's actually Greg Minnaar. Like obviously we both knew who the dude was, and like now we're in his shop, so we're like, duh, of course he's gonna be there at some stage. But anyway, so he like my friend and I didn't even know what to say. Like I didn't even end up greeting the dude, just because I was so nervous. And he walked straight up to me and my friend, and he's like, "Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? You guys down for the downhill race? I'm Greg." Da, da, da. And we were just like, yeah, like straight starstruck. And yeah, anyway, absolute legend. And from there, like, I mean, I ended up moving to Maritzburg. And when I started working at the shop, I ended up getting to know him a bunch more as well, because he was obviously in there quite a bit more. So, I mean, but also just like genuine, like salt of the earth, good dude. So, yeah, I don't know if you guys have had the chance to meet him. Anyway, but yeah. It's Doak, like love from India. Nice, much appreciated, dude. Yeah, let's see. Who is my mountain bike idol? That's an interesting question. Wow, that's a very interesting question. Damn, that's a like. I think there's like so many different realms of it as well. I think that when I was growing up, when I first started out, like obviously Greg was just right up there, just because he was so close to home. But I'd say like Steve Pete was a second best, and then probably Sam Hill, just because so the reason for Steve was just the greatest. So when I was coming through, like when I started racing downhill, like Steve was just like destroying. Steve was like, he was on form. Steve Pete, by the way. So he was just like absolutely on fire, like crushing it. And I remember looking up and I was just like, wow, this dude is insane. And like he was getting a bit older at the time, and like he just kept like doing so well. And I think he was like the first big name. And he was also just like, when I saw him in interviews and stuff, I was like, he was just such a good dude. And then I think also Sam Hill probably as well. Like, I mean, I know it's, like idolize the Sam and stuff, but I mean, like, dude, he was just a dude who came in, was also like not a big talker or anything. Like he wasn't over the top. Like he wasn't anything like, he wasn't like loud or obnoxious or anything. But like once that dude rode, it was just insane. Like the way he rode was just like, I think beyond his time in downhill racing and like his time in mountain biking, to be honest. I think he like he just was doing what nobody else was doing at the time. And I think on flats as well was like, it shook a lot of people. And I mean, obviously the sport has progressed a lot now, but I would say Sam, Steve, and Greg would probably be 3 of like my idols as well. Like now that I think about it, it's actually a tough one. I've never thought about that. It's a great question. So yeah, much appreciated for pointing that out. Like I've never really thought about that much more as well. Like I always had those dudes in mind, kind of growing up as well. Like for me, as well, I've had a chance to meet like quite a couple other dudes as well. And they were like, there was a World Cup, and like there's been a couple of World Cups in South Africa, so that I managed to get to and like just meet a couple of the dudes. And I think Sam was also probably one of the coolest dudes that I'd met. Also, just like, you always forget that these dudes are like just genuinely nice people as well. So I've had a like cool experience meeting a lot of them. Some 1 or 2 like guys. There was a few like cats that weren't like the nicest, but I think it's also just like, they're at the races and they're like super tense and that's their job and stuff. So I mean, it's pretty hard to like always be engaging, I guess, at a race, which is yeah. But anyway, so yeah. I'd love to hear your progress about how you can jump big over time because I'm still struggling to jump. Hello, Isaac. Yeah, dude. It's bro, it'll come, man. Like I think one big thing as well is like it's pretty easy to look at like what I've done and where I'm like at now and like how I like ride and stuff. But like, dude, I spent the better part of like 10 years dirt jumping, bro. And like I'm talking like it started small. Like whatever I could build with my hands with a spade was how I started. And like that was the thing. It was figuring it out on the fly. And I think like now it's always hard. Like I catch myself doing it very often, but it's very easy to kind of judge yourself against like what other people are doing on the internet. But like if you had to see my journey, like dude, I started like it took me a long time to learn, man. Like it took me, like I said, a lot of time spent repetition, just you know doing things over and over, building jumps a little bit bigger, building jumps a little bit bigger, improving my confidence bit by bit. And like, it doesn't always come like as quick as I think everyone thinks and like it always does. So don't be like deterred. Like you like if you're practicing, like you're on the right track, dude. Like it's also like just enjoy that like part of the journey as well. It's pretty cool. Like I would love to be able to go back and just like relive those glory days of like learning how to jump and learning like it sounds ironic, but like I love like being new at something as well. Like I've recently like started a couple other sports, not like that recently, but like I got into like a couple of martial arts and like rock climbing and running and stuff as well. But it was like it's a nice experience being beginning like a beginner at something because like I get the opportunity to learn and make all the mistakes again. Where like now when you're at the like right at the bottom, like that process of figuring everything out is also pretty cool. Like it's also underrated, I think, of like how do you get yourself from here to there. And I think now it's also like we're in the world where you've got so much resources and like so much content from other people that it's also like it can be a bit overwhelming. So like there's a lot of information to like filter through and like figure out and stuff. But yeah, man, just don't be deterred. Like that's pretty rad. Greg to be that's sick. Do you think you'll ever make a video riding up here at Cascades in KZN, the 2012 World Champs venue? Dude, I'd love to. Like I say, that is probably Yonkers and Cascades are my two favorite places to ride. Like I moved to like Maritzburg for Cascades basically because it was just like I could either move to Cape Town, but I would be further away from my parents when I was in Joburg. So I was like, nope, I wanted to go to KZN. I had a bunch of friends there, and I was like, dude, that's where I'm going. That's the mecca. So like those are my stomping grounds, man. I would love to go to back to Cascades and make some videos there as well. I think it'd be pretty sick. I think I'd have to strap on my big boy pants again because those jumps are big, dude. I mean, obviously you've ridden there as well, but like that downhill track is nothing to be sneezed at, bro. Like that World Cup track is gnarly. Like I remember I miss it, man. Like I miss being able to go hit all the big jumps and stuff. Like I'm a little bit bleak. Like Cape Town doesn't have like any trails that have got like massive jumps and stuff. Like you can go to like there's places you can go dirt jump and stuff, but there's no like trails. Like maybe Hell's End Bike Park now is probably like the closest you're gonna get to be able to do that. But like where Cascades you can just roll in and hit like massive stuff like down like World Cup level like downhill tracks as well. So it's just pretty cool. Anyway, so Alexander fam, what's up? What's up, dude? Hello to you too, sir. Much appreciated you being here, hanging out as well. Let's see what else we got in the chat here. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, appreciate you guys jumping on you, man. Like really, really enjoy hanging out and spending a bit of time and like answering your guys' questions as well. So like I say, I always try and make a little bit of time to do it every day to like kind of get back to everyone on YouTube because I think it's yeah, for me it's like I don't know why, I don't know what it is, but like I love the YouTube folks, man. Like it's a pretty epic place as well. And like also just because it's like all over the show, like people are from everywhere, which is still boggles my mind. So anyway, yeah, it's still pretty nuts concept. Like I say, always much appreciated you guys hopping on here, spending time. I didn't even know what time it would be for you guys as well. Like people are like it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon here. Like, well, I think it's a bit past that now, but anyway, AW is the MTB king. Hey, I appreciate you, bro. Thanks on the fam. Thanks, dude. Much appreciated, man. That's you guys make always making me smile out here, man. Make me blush. Don't make me blush on live stream, bro. This has got to go on the internet. You're gonna make me blush on live stream. I'm just joking. Psych, dude. Much appreciated. He taught most of my mountain bike tricks. Hey, I appreciate that, dude. I think I really have like enjoyed making these videos and like also like I like the feedback, like I feed off the feedback, man. Like people that come in and like, dude, I learned to wheelie and stuff. Like I get some of these comments sometimes and I'm like, I learned to wheelie and like thank you so much. I'm like it blows my mind. Like it makes me so happy like seeing people improving as well. And like for me as well, like it's quite cool. Like I think my teaching has gotten better, I think, as well, because like I have to like dive in and like analyze exactly what I'm teaching. So when I like break down a skill, like I like script it first, and then I'll like shoot it, and I get to like then add on top of that, like if I'm like making sure that I've got everything to give you guys, like I try and make sure that I don't miss anything to like make sure that the learning is as like as understandable as possible and like as easy to process as possible and like quick to learn. So yeah, much appreciated, you guys. Like I say, it always makes me pretty happy when you guys are learning as well. So best teacher, hey, I appreciate that. Funny enough, like you say, the best teacher, man, I don't know why, but I never considered teaching as a like growing up or whatever. But I've just found like through like writing and stuff, like I genuinely enjoy teaching. So weird fact of the day, but like I enjoy teaching. I really like, I don't know what it is. Couldn't tell you why, but like I just enjoy saying like what a platform to do it, man. Like what a way to be able to give back to you guys, and like the fact that you guys enjoy it as well. So yeah, much appreciated. We need this channel to blow up. Hey, I appreciate you, dude. I think it is already. I'm like, the fact that we are here for the 20K, like the subscriber live stream is like blows my mind, dude. It blows my mind that like it's already got this far. It's like I was still looking, and I'm like, I like often like you know, obviously like being in the space, like I got people that I look up to as well. Like there's a couple dudes as well, like in the space. If you guys don't follow, go follow Colorado Kid. What a legend is Joe. So anyway, he was like he's like is one of my idols, dude. Like I remember the first time like I followed him on TikTok, and he followed me back, and I like ended up reaching out, and we ended up chatting, and he just gave me like a bunch of valuable advice, and I was like gobsmacked. Like I was like, this dude is talking to me, like what? And already just like in the last couple of months, the fact like where it is from then to now, like yeah, man, it's a testament to you guys, a testament to yeah, like I said, I just love the teaching, man. So um much appreciated. Yeah, man. Well, at least we got cool places to be able to teach, man. Like, hopefully, I can. I don't want to take your teachers' jobs as well, but yeah, at least there's a place to, at least to do that. Monet Caden, how do I wheelie a bike? Dude, go check out my video, man. Come on, come on. It'll be 60 good seconds of your life. You'll definitely learn. Well, I hope you'll learn. Anyway, so yeah, it's definitely easier to like sometimes visualize as well. So funny enough, on the the visualization side of things, somebody said to me the other day, which I'd never considered, but when I do a lot of my gesturing and stuff, so like in my videos, when I like make my videos for you guys, like obviously I'll try like gesture out what's going on, and like how your body position and stuff should be moving, and like how it goes, and then I'll put the captions on screen. But somebody like said to me, so for deaf people, like they've been finding my like videos pretty valuable. Like this guy teaches like a couple deaf kids to mountain bike, and he said like they learned a lot of value because they can obviously read the captions, but like the gesturing of like where things should be going, how your body should be moving, has actually helped them a lot. So I mean, how's that for a fun, interesting fact of the day as well? So a little smile for the day. I know it made me smile anyway. But yeah, let's have a look down there. Let's have a look. Congrats on 20K PCGT. Much appreciated. Thanks for being on here, man. All right, congrats. There you go. Any good bikes I should try? I'm upgrading mine. What bikes do you currently ride, Monet? Let's start with that. What bike do you currently ride? I think because that's like it's quite a hard like people often ask me that as well, and it's a very hard question to answer because like it depends on like sizing, discipline. Like you're gonna have like so many options. BMX, all right. So I mean, that's like depends on where you are as well, like what you're gonna be able to access and get resources to. What are you currently riding? That's also like another good question as well. I love Trek bikes. Pumba, yeah, dude. Trek is pretty. Dude, Trek is huge. I didn't realize like how big Trek actually was. From when I started riding as well, I remember Trek. Like I had a BMX, like a Trek BMX back in the day. I think it was like one of my first. Excuse me, guys. First bikes as well was a Trek, and dude, they are huge. Like Trek is everywhere, bro, and they have like a bike for anybody, like a beginners, like advanced e-bikes. That I mean, you name it. But like the idea being is that the brand is huge. Like they're as a company, they are massive. Like I remember looking a little while ago, doing like a bunch of outreach and stuff, but like the company size is actually like outrageous, and they have like I mean, like, very close on with Specialized as well. And I know Specialized are pretty big, but like, I mean, there's a lot of small niche brands, like for example, like YT, who's not so niche now, but like, I mean, the examples there, but like, they're just massive, man. And they are pretty cool. And I think that's like just the reason is they've done really well, made really good bikes. And funny enough, I was so jealous, dude. The one World Cup, I don't know if you guys know this, but one of the World Cups in Maritzburg, in Peter Maritzburg, in KZN, what the guys would do is the guys, when they came over, so all the World Cup teams would travel from overseas to South Africa to come and basically ride the World Cup here, because it was quite far out. So most of the time, there's a couple of races in Europe, and there's the odd one that like will happen in the States and stuff. But it's anyway, the outliers. So the downhill races that are pretty far away, like people have to spend a lot of money to get to the races, and then they have to box their bikes, and they have to like ship them over here as well. And it's quite a big thing to get, like, especially for the teams. They need to make sure they have enough spares and stuff. And I think it was, I don't want to lie to you, I think it was like 2011 or 2012, and the Trek team came over, and they had these like their new sessions, the session 9.8, so I think it was the 9.8 at the time. And they ended up, so what the teams do is they find it cheaper to sell the bikes before they go back, or they'll like disassemble and they'll keep, for example, like the forks and the wheels, and then they'll sell the frames. And one of my buddies ended up being at the right place at the right time, and he ended up buying one of those sessions. And I was like, dude, you got such a deal. And I remember like he raved about that Trek. It was one of the best bikes I think he ever rode. So I was always like pretty jealous of him, like getting that thing right as well, like just being able to be at the right place at the right time. What was the guy's name? And I think he was one of the Trek managers. I can't even remember who was on the teams at the time, but he ended up getting, was like this sick white, like white and black and red frame. It was like a custom color as well. And I was like, oh man, that thing was beautiful. And like, obviously, when you like in your discipline, like if you ride BMX, like you froth over the BMXs, or if you ride marathon, you froth over the marathon stuff. And I was like, in the time, I was like the downhill bikes, like you could get very limited amount of downhill bikes in South Africa. And I was like, when he got this thing, I was like, dude, that is so rad. Anyway, yeah, it was pretty cool. Have I tried the glitter to stands yet? No, I haven't yet, sir. I have actually had two other people commented and said, like, mentioned the glitter as well. So I think like maybe I was hit stands up as well. I don't know if you guys like. I think I need to hit them up and be like, yo, you guys need to pop the glitter like in the stands as well. Maybe that'll work. see what they say. Like the people have asked, and like we need to appease them. So yeah, I definitely think we need to try. It's actually funny enough, another like that's been pretty cool. That's another update as well. That's been pretty rad. Is that like partnering up with stands? They've been like a pretty household like name since I remember starting to ride as well. So they just do like sealants, and they've kind of branched out into wheels over the last like couple of years as well. I think they were always doing like wheels and stuff, but like their main production, like when I thought stands, like I always thought about like sealants and stuff as well. So there's a couple other players in the game, but like I mean for me the household name was always stands. So anyway, yeah, I might be doing a few more videos for them and stuff as well. So it's always kind of nice just having a little bit of support and like from dudes like that as well, which is pretty nuts. Like now reaching out to people, and people are like interested in chatting back, which is pretty cool. So yeah, between them and Lee, it's like super happy to have a couple of the guys behind like backing me and stuff at the moment as well. So yeah. Anyway, let's have a look what else we got in the chat here, sir. 11:36 p.m. here. Damn, man. I appreciate you being on here. That you're gonna be pretty tired tomorrow. Well, I hope not. Maybe that's your normal like chilling time as well. So I know I'd be tired if I went to bed at like anyway, time past 12. That's maybe just my oldness talking, but anyway. 100%. I've taken too many hard slams at Cascades, dude. That place, bro. I can't even tell you. Funny enough, like you say, hard slams as well. You've probably ridden the gully, but anyway, the gully for context is this super fast section of the downhill track, guys. And I remember, so I raced one of the World Cups there, and it's a super fast run in into these two, like a step down into these two massive tabletops. And anyway, they clocked they had like a speed trap as you were going up the takeoff for the first like big tabletop. And I think we measured them, they were like 19 and 17 meters or something like that. So they were massive, dude, like massive. And I remember in my run, I hit 61 k's an hour, hitting like as going up the takeoff for that jump. I was like, at the time, like I was pretty confident and stuff. I was like, but it was like it's gnarly, man. Like you are going so fast, like hitting a jump at like normal speeds or dirt jumping or whatever, like no problem. But like when you start picking up the speeds there, like it's a different ball game as well. That's like I always look at the moto dudes, and those dudes hit jumps fast, man. But yeah, on a bicycle hitting something that fast as well for me was like it's just pretty big. So Cascades, like I say, that place breeds pretty good riders just because there's no option to be otherwise. Like you've got to be pretty on it to hit some of the stuff there, man. Like that place is a breeding ground for good riders. So yeah. And funny enough, you say hard slams, but I raced for many, many years. And I think the last proper downhill race that I ever did, I crashed and I had a massive off on that tabletop because they cut the trees on the one side and the wind. I got caught by the wind and I had this massive slam, also probably doing the better part of 55, 60 Ks an hour. And I got caught by the wind and I like landed sideways down onto the landing and just like crashed a mad shit as well. And I was just like, dude, I was toast. Like I think like, I remember I bust my finger, like my AC, like I had a bunch of injuries from that as well. And it just took me a long time to recover. And like it bashed my confidence quite a lot as well. But anyway, like I got back to riding, but I think that was probably one of my last big races that I ever did. I just remember like because downhill is rough on the body, man. Like it is a tough thing on the body, dude. So I think that's one thing like for me as well. Like now, I think I mentioned at the beginning of the chat, but like riding versus racing is like racing is gnarly, but like you've got to be super, super, super dedicated to want to get where you need to be. Whereas if you're riding on the weekends and you're enjoying riding and you just like enjoying the love of riding, like you're gonna crash and stuff, but like you might not have as big of a crashes. Like, and it's like the risk to reward, right? So, but it's interesting because it becomes like an obsession with the racing. Like I look at some of the guys now and like how these dudes are like at the level they are in like World Cups, and just like doing it week after week. And I'm like, some of these dudes hit the deck so hard and so like massive crashes. I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard of Stefan Galicki, but I mean, he's done like both his hips, dude, and that is huge. And that is like a big thing to be able to come back, like mentally to come back from that. I take my hat off to the dude. Like that's insane. Like you've got to have like the focus and like want to come back from that is pretty impressive. Like to be able to do that, like that for me is always a mind blower. Like that for me is also like what makes a good rider and a good racer. Like you've got to be able to want to get past all everything else going on is like got to be like second, like, and you've got to want to be there so badly, and like with injuries and racing and making it happen and travels and anything else. Anyway, um, not sure if this was covered already. What bike did I crack? I did cover it. Social Street. What's up, dude? But appreciate you hopping on and like get in the chat there as well. So yeah, dude, I cracked my e-bike. So yeah, I know e-bike banter. But anyway, I cracked my the chainstay, and I spent so much time yesterday flipping fixing that thing, dude. But anyway, it is back together. I had to reroute my speed sensor, my gear cable, reroute, like rebleed the brakes. I'm like, of all the things I could have crashed, like possibly the worst piece of your bike that you could have broken, it was that. So anyway, a lot of trauma coming through there. But anyway, yeah, that's also like a funny another fact. I think something that's good about racing is that you don't always have access to mechanics. So like being able to wrench in your own bike is also pretty cool as well. But like I forgot how much time you can spend doing it. Like sometimes like when you get like you can want your bike to be super super good and perfect and everything. And like I remember at the races and stuff, like sometimes like you would take and build your toolkit, and like you had access to whatever people had at the race village. Like if you were we would go like up country and to like PE, or like other places like Cascades, and like some Cascades there was like a bike shop and stuff. But sometimes you don't always have resources as well, so it's like kind of nice to be able to like fix your bike. But bro, e-bikes, I'm like, I don't even know if I want it anymore. I'm like, I just spend more time fixing the flipping thing behind the scenes than I have anything else. But anyway, it got me through the last video, which is pretty cool. So I rode, you'll see the next video that I'm going to drop tomorrow. I ended up riding with a cracked frame just because I was like, I couldn't not like, I was like, I knew how big of a job it was. And I was like, cool, I'm not going to do this just yet. Like I'm going to wait one day. So I filmed, I think on Thursday, and then yeah, I ended up replacing the bike. So anyway, I'm good for tomorrow. I'm going to be riding tomorrow. I'm going to go out to head out to Yonkers, go for a little ride out there, join a couple of the boys. So today was a bit of a all over the show. We were supposed to go out for a group ride in Yonkers, and I think it got cancelled because of the wet and the rain and everything. It's just been like, dude, Cape Town's been just getting hammered with bloody weather, man. Like it's been like all over the show. Like this place has just been relentless. I feel like I was saying to everyone earlier, but like the Europeans and the are so good at riding in the wet. I think South Africa's just like the Cape Townians are just going to get better because we're just being forced to ride in the wet all the time lately. Anyway, yeah, man. So Greg MTV, let's see what you got to say there. It's hectic. I had my hardest slam on Rebel, Dr. Evil. Dude, I saw so many dudes go down on Dr. Evil as well. That thing was like, it's got its name. So for context as well, on the downhill track, like each section of the downhill track had names on like at Cascade. So for the downhill in Pietermaritzburg, like the World Cup track, where I don't know, you might have seen guys riding there, but like each section got a name, and that thing got called Dr. Evil just because so many dudes took slams on that thing. And it was also like you were just going so fast, like landing, it was just hard on the bikes, like your body. There was a couple dudes, and then like you drop into this gully also just at like Mach 10, and bro, it always just you drop in there, you get to the bottom, and you're just like you're thanking your lucky stars that you got to the bottom without like anything breaking or whatever. I remember watching, I think it was Jonty Neethling. He's like a pretty famous South African downhill rider as well, and he ended up snapping a handlebar as he landed into that gully. And it was, I think they somebody caught the photos as well, and it was one of the most horrific like set of photos I think I've seen in a long time, man. But that place like just takes no prisoners, absolute like just hard. It's just a hard flipping place as well. Like there's no in between. Like I think Cape Town's pretty good as well, but the speed of Cascades was always one thing that I found was like quite a humbling thing to be able to get used to. So yeah, anyway, but it's almost night. It was a good thing to watch your stream. It's my first time I made it in your stream, so I wonder how it's like. Nice. Hey, dude, I appreciate that, man. Yes, like I say, you always make me smile. Stuff like that, like dudes hopping on 12 o'clock at night. Like, what a legend, bro. Like, what an absolute legend. So, yeah, much appreciated. Anyway, guys, what I think I'd like to do is I'd like to just give away a set of these gloves quickly. So, first dude to drop Liat MTB in the chat is going to get a set of these gloves. So, get to typing, smash it down there. Whoever comes up first on my side, yeah, I'm gonna hook you up with a set of these Grip R gloves. So, get going, pop it in the chat. Just write the word Liat MTB. Yeah, there we go. Greg MTB. I got it there. Flip. Greg MTB came in first. Social Thread second. Greg, do me a favor. Drop into my DMs on Instagram, and I'll make sure that you get hooked up. We'll get you sized up and that sort of thing as well, so I can get a set, so know what set of gloves you need. But yeah, dude, like I say, these are super rad gloves. That appreciate Liat hooking me up with these. Like I say, really rad company as well. So yeah. Yellow Isaac, wait, what? Oh, there we go. Sorry. Nice. But yeah, man, like Liat's done some really cool stuff as well. Like they're dropping a 2024 range pretty soon as well. So they do like a lot of gravity based stuff. I don't know if you guys know this, but they're like South Africa is 2% of their market. 2%. I didn't realize, like I went to see and like chat to them, but like yeah, they are huge on the international scene. Like I didn't realize they had some like serious riders. Like I mean, the company is actually pretty like massive, dude. Like I mean, Bernard Kerr's been doing some pretty not like rad stuff for them as well, like the team that he's got running and whatnot. So yeah, but anyway, so that's been pretty cool. And I think how do like confidence and stuff on a bike, like a couple other topics like I wanted to touch on as well. Like if you guys have any other questions as well, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Like if you guys have any questions for me, like I said, happy to help, happy to answer questions, like whatever it may be. Go nuts. Like happy to have you guys here and just spending a little bit of time. Like appreciate all of y'all hopping on here as well. So like I said, Greg, please don't forget to hop on and just drop into my DMs there as well, so I can get in touch and get you those gloves as well. So yeah, like I'm also thinking of like as well, so like a couple future things for A to B. Like I'm trying to think of like, you know, obviously other like direction and stuff. Like I've started dropping into the humorous side a little bit as well, which has been pretty fun as well. So you'll see, like I said, like I mentioned earlier, a couple like Colorado kid. You know, there's a couple dudes. What is his name? Normal mountain biker. Those dudes are in like the little bit more of the humorous space, but I think I'm like more in the how-to space. But like I also dig the like the humorous, relatable stuff as well. You know, I think it's like I think dudes like everyone when you can relate to it, like it's always gonna be pretty funny. So like that's the thing. Yeah. Am I doing sick? Thank you so much. Absolute pleasure, Greg. And am I doing the Yonkers Enduro? Yes, sir. I'm actually heading out there to ride tomorrow. I want to go get a lap or two in. Like I said, we were supposed to do that ride today. We weren't in like Melissa group ride, but like got rained out, unfortunately. But yeah, I will be doing it. Are you going to be doing it? I'm assuming you are. Hopefully, yes, sir. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, guys, I think we might start wrapping up pretty soon. Appreciate y'all hanging out here with me. Like I said, it really is pretty rad to be able to engage with everyone and just spend a bit of time. So. And my DMs are always open. Like if you guys ever have any questions and stuff as well, like I say to people all the time, like drop into my DMs. If you got videos of you riding and want a bit of feedback and stuff, like always happy to help, like anytime. And yeah, much appreciated for you all hopping on here. If you have any other questions, like I said, feel free, drop into the DMs, always open. And much appreciate you guys all hopping on here and spending a bit of time with me today. like I say, sure you guys have got like fun things to do, but you chose to spend a bit of time here. So yeah, much love. And yeah, anyway, I will see you guys on the flip side. Keep an eye out for the video tomorrow, and peace and love to you all. Hopefully you guys have a rad day. Sweet. Peace out, guys. Much love.